What's up, everybody? Josh Armijo here. I hope everybody's doing good and well and stuff. I got an album review to do for you, and I'm going to be talking to you about the new album from the band The Ruins of Beverast, entitled The Thule Grimoires. This is released on Van Records. Now, if you're not too familiar with this project, it's based out of Germany, and the best way to describe the sound of this project would be a very dark, bleak, doomy style of black metal. Yeah. It would be safe to say that The Ruins of Beverast is one of the most critically acclaimed, most well-regarded, and most well-respected bands within today's black metal world. Of course, all of that can be attributed to one person, Alexander von Meilenwald. He is the main driving force behind this project. He does all the vocals, all the music, all the lyrics. Just an absolute force to be reckoned with. And throughout the majority of this project's existence, he has delivered some absolutely memorable classic black metal albums. I mean, you can pick, it's really hard to pick when it comes to The Ruins of Beverast what many people would consider to be his best works. I mean, I've heard a lot of people say they love Unleash the Shrine, or Rain Upon the Impure, or Foulest Semen of the Sheltered Elite, or something like Blood Vaults. The first four albums are just absolute masterpieces in my opinion, the latter two being some of my personal favorites. But ever since those albums, of course, Meilenwald has stayed very, very busy, not only doing this particular band, but also playing drums with Truppenstorm, doing live performances with The Ruins of Beverast, and just very consistent in making more really solid music. Of course, with The Ruins of Beverast, he followed up Blood Vaults with an EP called Tacitüm Tudum, and then in 2017 we got a album called Exuvia. Typical Ruins of Beverast business as usual, but still very solid nonetheless. And of course, he has also stayed busy with split releases with the likes of bands such as Morning Beloved and Mirkvi. Really top-notch splits. But moving back to The Ruins of Beverast, in 2021 we have a brand new full-length from The Ruins of Beverast entitled The Thule Grimoires. Of course, when I first heard about a brand new Ruins of Beverast album coming out, I was very excited. I was very curious to see what kind of direction he was going to take, how he was going to structure things this time around. And of course, here is that album, The Thule Grimoires. It's 7 tracks, and it clocks in at around 69 minutes in length, and pretty much continues the rich tradition of Ruins of Beverast albums being very long, very lengthy. And yeah, this is definitely one of those bands that you really need to make the time and effort to pay attention and listen to everything that's being presented here. There's no need to fast forward or skip through anything. It's a very immersive listening experience when you're listening to something like The Ruins of Beverast. And The Thule Grimoires is no exception here. I honestly think that this is a way better album than Exuvia, way better than Tacitüm Tudum. And of course, I think this could be right up there with some of the best material I've heard Meilenwald do with The Ruins of Beverast to date. This is just some absolutely glorious, glorious black metal. Of course, you get set right into the mood with the opening moments and atmosphere of Ropes into Eden. But then as the album goes on and progresses, things get much, much better and a lot more emotional and a lot darker from there. I think this is just a real roller coaster ride of emotions when it comes to listening to the Thule Grimoires. And I think it's a really, really phenomenal album. Probably one of the best things I've heard The Ruins of Beverast do in a very, very long time. Musically, Meilenwald knows exactly what he's doing. He is very, very skilled and detailed when it comes to the musical aspects of this band. Really fantastic guitar riffs, really, really deep and pummeling sorts of bass tones being done throughout this album. I mean, you hear it on, like I mentioned, Ropes into Eden. The Tundra Shrines is another really awesome example of the musical aspects of this record. Mammoth Pulis is another really good one. Anchoress in Furs is another fantastic track. And of course, the fact that some of these songs push on towards 11, 12, and even 14 minutes just shows you the pure stamina of how Meilenwald is when it comes to crafting these musical compositions and just overall creating some very, very strong and memorable songwriting. It's all here, and it all sounds phenomenal. The guitar playing, the bass work is fantastic. The drumming is awesome, too. I love the diversity in the drumming. Of course, this is where you get the doomier aspects of the Ruins of Beverast. You get drumming that's very subtle and mid-paced. You get your occasional blast beats here and there. But then, of course, you get to more methodical, sulking sorts of drum performances going on here, especially for some of the lengthier tunes that appear on here. I think it works out really well, and it is just very breathtaking to hear him do the drum style that he knows how to do best here. And of course, when it comes to the vocals, I love Meilenwald's vocal style. Very deep, very bellowing, very strong. I love his vocal deliveries when it comes to him doing those low, dulcet sorts of tones. But then when it comes to the more emotional stuff like the singing, going to the track The Tundra Shrines, I think there's some great singing moments on this entire record, and I love that it's mixed throughout the album with the mixture of the growled vocals and the sung vocals. It's just really powerful stuff, and it just makes you want to pay attention to everything that's happening here. It's just a very, very strong and thrilling vocal performance by Alexander von Meilenwald here. So overall, this is a Ruins of Beverast album personified. It's very beautifully made. It's very strong. It's very emotional. It's very powerful. Lots of great riffs, lots of great drumming, lots of great stories to be woven here. And if you're a fan of this band, I would highly recommend that you give this new album a shot. I don't know where it'll land in your rankings for this band's body of work, but this band just continues to be great, continues to be perfect, and I think this album in and itself is perfect. So if I had to think of any personal favorite tracks, I would definitely have to say Ropes into Eden, The Tundra Shrines, Anchoress in Furs, and the closing track, Deserts to Bind and Defeat. Absolutely amazing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave you some links in the description box as to how you can get hold of this album and listen to it. I will leave you a link to the Van Records Bandcamp page where you can listen to this album in its entirety, hear it for yourself, and be your own judge as to whether you think it's worthy being purchased or not. You can stream it by digitally. It is available physically as a CD and 12-inch vinyl. I'm sure there are lots of ways to get a hold of this album if you're living in the US or Europe, so definitely pay attention to how to get a hold of this album through those other means. So, again, the album is the Thule Grimoires by the Ruins of Beverast. This is released on Van Records. Definitely check this one out. This is mandatory purchasing. And for a score, I'm going to give this the highest score I can possibly give. This gets a perfect 10 out of 10. Album of the year so far, and I don't know what else could possibly top it, or if anything else could top it. So this is some seriously killer black metal. So if you've happened to have heard this album, definitely let me know what you think about it, how you feel about it, and how you think it compares to previous Ruins of Beverast releases. Are any of you guys into the Ruins of Beverast? Definitely let me know. I'm going to conclude this review. Thanks a lot for watching. Thanks for checking out my channel. And until the next time, Armijo out.